The assembly will come to order. The chief clerk will call the roll.
Assemblywoman Anderson, Assemblywoman Benitez-Thompson, Assemblywoman Bilbra Axelrod, Assemblywoman Black, Assemblywoman Brown-May, Assemblywoman Carlton, Assemblywoman Cohen, Assemblywoman Considine, Assemblywoman Dickman, Assemblywoman Duran, Assemblyman Ellison, Assemblyman Flores, Assemblywoman Gonzalez, Assemblywoman Gorlow, Assemblyman Hathan, Assemblywoman Hanson, Assemblywoman Hardy, Assemblywoman Howdigi, Assemblywoman Kasama, Assemblywoman Krasner, Assemblyman Levitt, Assemblywoman Martinez, Assemblywoman Marzola, Assemblyman Matthews, Assemblyman MacArthur, Assemblywoman Brittany Miller, Assemblyman C.H. Miller, Assemblywoman Monroe Moreno, Assemblywoman Wynn, Assemblyman O'Neill, Assemblyman Ortlicker, Assemblywoman Peters, Assemblyman Roberts, Assemblywoman Summers Armstrong, Assemblywoman Thomas, Assemblywoman Titus, Assemblywoman Tolles, Assemblywoman Torres, Assemblyman Watts, Assemblyman Wheeler, Assemblyman Yeager, Speaker Frierson.
Here, Assemblywoman Benitez-Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May the record reflect that we have all members present.
The record shall so reflect there are 42 members present. There is a quorum. The assembly will please rise for the prayer by Imam Abdel Aziz of Northern Nevada Muslim Community in Sparks.
In the name of God, the most gracious, most merciful, most kind to his creation. He says, "Call upon me, I will respond to you." We ask God to bless and guide this legislative body, give them unity, and shed his wisdom and grace upon them, so they can bear the heavy burden they carry. Help them to work together, respect one another's opinions, empower them to engage in a dialogue with compassion, and stand united for the people of this great state. Amen.
Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order Business 2, reading and approval of the journal.
Carson City, Friday, April
Mr.
2nd,
Speaker.
2021.
Assemblywoman Benitez-Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to dispense with further reading of the journal and authorize the Speaker and Chief Clerk to make necessary corrections or additions.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Order Business 4, reports of standing committee.
Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Health and Human Services, to which was referred Assembly Bill 217-358, has had the same under consideration and begs leave to report the same back with recommendation do pass. Rochelle T. Wynn, Chair. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Natural Resources, to which was referred Assembly Bill 84 and a Assembly Joint Resolution Number 3, has had the same under consideration and begs leave to report the same back with recommendation do pass. Howard Watts, Chair. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Ways and Means, to which was re-referred Assembly Bill 86, has had the same under consideration and begs leave to report the same back with the recommendation do pass. Maggie Carlton, Chair.
Order Business 8, motions, resolutions, and notices.
Notice of exemption, April 2nd, 2021. The Fiscal Analysis Division, pursuant to Joint Standing Rule 14.6, has determined the eligibility for exemption of Assembly Bills numbers 223, 257, 268, 278, 322, 347, 351, 348, 357, 360, 374, 377, 380, 384, 388, 389, 393, 404, 405, and 435. Sarah Kaufman, Fiscal Analysis Division. Notice of exemption, April 4, 2021. The Fiscal Analysis Division, pursuant to Joint Standing Rule 14.6, has determined the eligibility for exemption of Assembly Bills number 46, 367, 371, 372, and 376. And April 5th, 2021, the Fiscal Analysis Division, pursuant to Joint Standing Rule 14.6, has determined the exemption of Assembly Bill 372. And the Fiscal Analysis Division, pursuant to Joint Standing Rule 14.6, has determined the eligibility for exemption of Assembly Bills numbers 37, 271, 379, and 414. Sarah Kaufman, Fiscal Analysis Division.
Go to order. Assemblywoman Benitez-Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under Order Business 8, I would move that the Assembly waive Assembly Standing Rule Number 57, subsection 4, until April 9th. Until Friday, April 9th.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Go to order business 11, second reading and amendments. We got to order business 9, introductions.
Assembly Bill 448, introduced by the Committee on Ways and Means, an act relating to juvenile justice, designating criminal investigators employed by the Division of Child and Family Services and the Department of Health and Human Services as Category 2 peace officers and providing other matters properly laid thereto.
Assemblywoman Carlton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would move Assembly Bill 448 be referred to your Committee on Ways and Means.
Without objection, so referred. We now go to order business 8, motions, resolutions, and notice. Order business 11, second reading and amendments.
Assembly Bill 151, introduced by Assemblyman Gonzalez, Sedal, Senators Tunyati, and Hammond, an act relating to offenses, revising provisions relating to the collection of delinquent fines, administrative assessments, fees, and restitution, revising provisions relating to the suspension of a driver's license of a person under certain circumstances, and providing other matters properly laid thereto. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in Senate and Assembly, to enact as follows: Section 1, end of Section 1, Section 4, end of Section 4, end of bill.
Any amendments to Section 1 of the amendments of the bill as a whole?
I have amendment number 84, proposed by the Assembly Committee on Judiciary.
Remarks, Assemblywoman Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to adopt Amendment 84 to Assembly Bill 51. Amendment 84 simply...
Hold on, just a second.
Oh, sorry.
Assemblywoman Gonzalez moved that the Assembly adopt Amendment 84 to Assembly Bill 151. Remarks.
Amendment 84 simply adds a few Assembly colleagues to the bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further remarks? There being none, all those in favor, the Assembly adopt Amendment 84 to Assembly Bill 151, signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Amendment is adopted. Any further amendments to the bill?
There are none.
The bill is ordered general fund.
Assembly Bill 182, introduced by Assemblyman Charles et al., Senators Pickard et al., an act relating to crimes, revising the elements of the crime of advancing prostitution and providing other matters properly laid thereto. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows: Section 1, end of Section 1, end of bill.
Any amendments to Section 1?
I have Amendment 87, proposed by the Assembly Committee on Judiciary.
Assemblywoman Tolles.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to adopt Amendment 87 to Assembly Bill 182.
Assemblywoman Tolles moved that the Assembly adopt Amendment 87 to Assembly Bill 182. Remarks?
Yes, Amendment number 87 just adds a co-sponsor.
Any further remarks? There being none, all those in favor of the Assembly adopting Amendment 87 to Assembly Bill 182 signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Amendments adopted. Any further amendments to the bill?
There are none.
The bill is ordered general fund.
Assembly Bill 290, introduced by Assemblywoman Howdy, an act relating to financial institutions, revising the definition of the term fiduciary for the purposes of certain provisions relating to the business of a trust company, authorizing funds held in a fiduciary capacity by a savings bank to be swept to the deposit accounts of the savings bank under certain circumstances, imposing certain requirements on savings banks relating to funds in a fiduciary account administered by a savings bank that are awaiting investment or distribution, and providing other matters properly laid thereto. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows: Section 1, end of Section 1, Section 2, end of Section 2, end of bill.
Any amendments to Section 1 of the bill as a whole?
There are none.
The bill is ordered general fund. We go to order business 8, Assemblywoman Carlton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Order of business number 8.
Order business 8.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would move that Assembly Bill 151, just reported out on second reading, be referred to your Committee on Ways and Means.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Go back to order business 12, general fund and third reading.
Assembly Bill 187, introduced by Assemblyman Farmer, Senate, all, an act relating to periods of observance, designating the month of September of each year as Ovarian and Prostate Cancer Prevention and Awareness Month in the state, and providing other matters properly laid thereto. The people of the state of Nevada, represented in Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows: Section 1, end of Section 1, Section 2, end of Section 2, end of bill.
Any amendments to Section 1 of the bill as a whole?
There are none.
Remarks, Assemblyman Flores.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Assembly Bill 187 designates the month of September of each year as Ovarian and Prostate Cancer Prevention Awareness Month and requires that the governor to issue annually a proclamation encouraging the observance of Ovarian and Prostate Cancer Prevention and Awareness Month.
Any further remarks? Assemblywoman Titus.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in support of AB 187 and designating the month of September as Ovarian and Prostate Cancer Prevention and Awareness Month in Nevada. And I would also like to commend the Speaker for his grace and coming public about his own experience with this issue. I encourage the practice of good, healthy lifestyles. Know and speak with your doctor about your family history and follow the national testing guidelines. Early detection is key, and I'm fully on board with the awareness campaign each September. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblywoman. Any further remarks? There being none, the Chief Clerk will open the roll. Anyone wishing to change their vote? There are 42 ayes, 0 nays. Bill having received the constitutional majority, declare passed and order transmitted to the Senate. We go to order of business 15, remarks. Assemblywoman Peters.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Order of business 15.
Order of business 15.
Oh, thank you. I stand today to recognize the Girl Scouts of the United States of America and all of their work to empower our girls, emphasizing public service, civic engagement, and fostering a sense of community, all backbone values of our legislative body. In light of the struggles brought on by the 2020 pandemic, I want to specifically recognize the continued efforts of the Girl Scouts of the Sierra Nevada and the Girl Scouts of Southern Nevada to maintain continuity of community and experience for their members. Today, we present the Girl Scouts with this proclamation, the original of which is in the other house today. Please join me in thanking this wonderful group.
Assemblywoman Tolles.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Order business 15.
Order of business 15.
Thank you. With the changing floor schedules last week, I regretfully missed the opportunity to honor one of my constituents who was well deserving of recognition during Women's History Month. But I do not want to let this session go by without acknowledging a Nevada public servant who has been an inspiration and a great influence on so many across our state, in this chamber, and on me particularly, personally. Sue Pooler Wagner was born in 1940 in Maine, and it was the early experiences in her life that powerfully influenced her future career, including having a father who was active in the Republican Party, meeting United States Senator Margaret Chase Smith, and losing the governorship of Girls State by 1 vote because she thought it would be conceded to vote for herself, a mistake she would not make again. After moving to Nevada with her husband, Dr. Peter Wagner, Sue ran for the Nevada State Assembly representing Washoe County in 1974, the year I was born, on a shoestring budget. When her husband died in a plane crash in 1980, Sue debated whether she could afford to continue in the legislature and still raise her children. But ultimately, she ran for and won election to the Nevada State Senate, where her distinguished 10-year career included legislation concerning families, women, and children, domestic violence, persons with disabilities, ethics in government, regional planning, prison-related issues, elections, campaign reform, and public health. In 1990, Sue became the first woman to be elected Nevada's lieutenant governor and served in that office through 1995, after which she continued her staunch and dedicated public service, including at the University of Nevada, Reno, and the Nevada Gaming Commission. I first met Sue Wagner at a coffee shop during an arranged meeting with a mutual friend in 2016. And although small in stature, I was immediately impressed by the grandeur of her presence. She asked me pointedly why I was running for office, her old assembly seat. And when I told her I felt called, she promptly corrected me, saying, "Well, that's not much of a reason." After explaining my professional background and passion, particularly for education and child abuse prevention, we quickly found that we had a great deal in common, most notably a love for Nevada and common sense. I was struck by her wit and her grit, and it has inspired me in moments where I have sometimes felt like I am standing out on a limb. It is knowing that we are all standing on the shoulders of so many women and men who have served faithfully, with conviction, courage, and determination, that we can find the strength to draw upon when we need it most to continue to do the hard work before us. So with that, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to present this proclamation to Sue Pooler Wagner, former Assemblywoman, Senator, and first female elected to Lieutenant Governor in the state of Nevada, and invite everyone in this chamber to join By adding their electronic signatures, I will be sending out an email. And if you would like to join on this proclamation, I would just ask that you return that email with your permission by close of business on Wednesday. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblywoman. Assemblywoman Benitez Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. A little bit of a lay of the land for folks. We're still waiting for just, I think, about one bill to still make its way to the floor for committee introduction. So because of that, I'm going to recess until call of the chair, which will most likely be later this afternoon, to see if we can get that out and introduced. And if not, then we'll just come back and adjourn with no other business. So seeing no other business before us at the moment, Mr. Speaker, I move that the Assembly stand at recess until call of the chair.
You heard the motion. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are in recess.